Tony, great to have you back. Good morning.
Good morning, Carl.
We can talk about App Store scrutiny in a moment, but the bottom line is you are below consensus on EPS, and a big debate is whether or not this lost supply gets made up or not, right?
Yeah, I think there are actually two key questions. One is how much lost supply is there and how much of that actually gets made up or actually is perishable. And then the second one is just fundamental demand. Is this a reasonable iPhone cycle? Apple's enjoyed two very good years for iPhone in 21 and 22, and we believe that a higher than historical percentage of its installed base is upgraded. And so there's a question about, okay, well, if you had pretty high upgrade rates in the last couple of years, what is true demand ultimately for the iPhone 14 as well?
Are you saying, much like we talk about PCs, weakness, bloated inventories, you don't need to renew your PC or laptop every couple of years, that same dynamic is extending to phones?
Well, I think we've seen a relatively flat smartphone market for the last several years. And so Apple's growth in iPhone really is predicated on its ability not to necessarily find first-time users, because there aren't that many first-time users who are buying a $1,000 smartphone. It's really getting their installed base to upgrade. And when there's something really compelling, they may upgrade a little bit more quickly, and therefore Apple sells more units. And we think over the last couple of years with 5G offerings, upgrade rates did improve a little bit relative to 19 and 20. And so if you did have relatively high levels of upgraders over the last couple of years, you may have a tick down in that upgrade rate, which would ultimately translate into lower unit sales for Apple this year. And I think that's a question in addition to the production issues that Apple is facing in China.
Talk about Elon Musk clearly wants attention, but there have been lots of entities and people who try to poke holes in Apple's App Store business model over the years, Epic, Amazon, Google at times. Is this time any different? Or is this just an attempt to get some leverage?
Look, I think there have been many voices, John, as you suggested, Spotify among them as well. And there is a legal process ongoing in the U.S. and in other countries where Apple is being challenged legally about its position as the guardian of the App Store. I think ultimately this will play out in the courts, and Musk is adding to others' frustration with the rates being charged by the App Store. And I think this really is largely a question about what is the fair rate in app developers' minds, because clearly Apple is providing a service. They're providing access to 1.5 billion devices in their installed base, and they're enabling someone to reach out and to sell effectively to those customers. So they clearly deserve something, much like Amazon deserves something for vendors who place product on Amazon's site. The question is 30% the right rate? It's actually 30% for a subscription in the first year and then 15% thereafter. But that's ultimately, I think, at the core of the dispute. If the rate was 15, I think everyone would be happy, and clearly Musk is suggesting that as well. I think he once tweeted that the rate is 10 times too high. I think that's probably hyperbole, but nevertheless, that's really the debate. Is Apple is charging 30%, 15% thereafter for subscriptions, and that's a relatively high level, and that's at essence what's being charged and what Musk is also potentially frustrated with.